What's going on, everybody? How you doing? All right, this is a donation request. This is the last donation request from Matt. This is the band Tool. All right, and the song that we're doing is I sorry if I'm saying this wrong, but it's a Pneuma. And here's, before I even say what Matt says, here's my thing with Tool. I think Tool is freaking awesome. I've seen them live. I used to be super into them. I know, but I don't know all their albums. I know their first, where I stopped with them was after Lateralist. Like, I remember 10,000 Days coming out. I'm pretty sure I've heard 10,000 Days, but I didn't dig into, like I dug into their everything before that. And Fear Inoculum, which I believe this is off of, I don't know that I've heard it. I don't know that I've heard it. I gotta be honest. I don't know if I've heard it. But like Opiate, that EP or whatever, I listened to the shit out of that, and all the albums after, Anima, Undertow, Lateralist. I went to go and see them on that Lateralist tour. I mean, they're fucking incredible. They're incredible. They're incredible. All right. So Matt says, Tool, you know them, I'm sure. I hated them forever, but I found a small appreciation for them through Danny Carey, the drummer. If you've seen this, I'll pick another song, so let me know. No, I haven't, and I don't know that I know the song, actually. But this is a drum cam of Pneuma. Really shows the messed up time signatures, his controlled playing, and his insane technical abilities. Yes, there's an awesome video on Dromeo of Mike Portnoy trying to learn this song as quickly as possible. It takes him hours to get the time signature, and even then he's not sure. Yeah, of course. Yeah, of course. Yeah, it's Tool. Now, a lot of people like Tool because of that whole, like the counting part, which, I mean, I like. The thing about Tool in terms of like the time signature stuff, and the thing about time signatures to me that I like is that I first of all, I don't like to count. Right. I can count. Right. I can figure out what is going on technically, but I don't like to do things that way. I like to listen to it and absorb it and know the music in that way. Right. Just like just through listening to it a million times, osmosis. Right. If there's something that I really need to figure out or whatever, in that type of technical or theory type of way, like, OK, fine. Like I can do that. Right. But I don't like to do things that way because I feel like I don't want to, especially if I have to perform it. If I have to like describe it or teach it in some kind of way like that, then fine. But I just have chosen to not do music that way. I stop doing music that way. Right. I haven't taught lessons in years now, over a decade, right? A decade and a half now. Yeah. I mean, after I finished Berkeley, I started teaching lessons. And it was cool, right? It was cool depending on the student. It was cool, but again, there's that depending on the student part. And when I moved to LA, I was just like, I don't want to do what I did in Boston, which was teach, and stuff like that. So I didn't. I was like, I didn't have to. Honestly, I didn't have to. Where in Boston, I had to teach for money because there wasn't enough gigs, because half of the year the whole place is shut down because it's freezing. LA is not like that. I had plenty of gigs that I did not need to teach. So anyways, yeah, Tool is awesome. I don't know what you're talking about. And I unfortunately don't really know these two albums, like at all. I really don't. So this will be interesting. Opiate, I played the shit out of. I'm pretty sure I've heard 10,000 Days, but I really don't know it like I know these ones. Like at all. Like these ones I played constantly. These first 3 albums and the EP I played constantly. So anyways, this is what we're doing. Danny Carey, Pneuma. So the other thing about time signatures. And it's the same thing, like during the same time, like when I was in high school, I was listening to Tool and I was listening to Dream Theater and I was super into all that stuff. I like when time signatures just feel natural. Like you can, and it's fine. Like you can tell that it's not 4/4, right? Or not 3/4 or something like that, or 6/8 or whatever. But I like when it feels as natural as possible. And to me, Tool, those two bands do that. Tool does that. Just when it flows and it doesn't even kind of matter. Like it does matter, but it doesn't matter that it's an odd time. It's like whatever. But there are those people that are like, oh, like they get like crazy over counting and they like are aroused by that. And I don't care. I don't like music for that reason, for math, right? I don't like music for math. That's not the reason why I like it. I like music for emotion, and the math should serve the emotion, if that makes sense. The math, whether that's rhythm and time or harmony, right, should serve emotion. That's how I like music. So here we go. All right, Danny Carey, Pneuma, Tool, live in concert. Let's check it out. Hopefully this doesn't get blocked. Let's check it out. Bam. Let's see if I know it. Sounds like a Tool progression. And yeah, Danny Carey is sick. Yeah, he's sick. I mean, in that kind of way, he was like I didn't listen to Rush ever. This would be my Neil Peart, right? Or Mike Portnoy even. Which again, makes sense, because influenced by Neil Peart, right? Just selling. Gotta sell it. Sell it. Is there a link? Can I click? Yeah, the bass chords, right? Very Tool. I mean, it sounds like it's something that's off a Lateralus. His whole always having the snare off, right? It's pretty high. Sounds like it could have been off a Lateralus. You know, it sounds like they're using a lot of the same kind of writing tools, if that makes sense. You know, I mean, really though. And I think that that's why I didn't I didn't keep going with the 10,000 days because I'm like, sound. That's cool. Yeah, I mean, yeah, the rhythm, you know. Like, even just these changes, I'm like, is this not from Lateralus? It literally sounds like it's from, you know, I mean, I know it's not, but it sounds like it could have been on Lateralus. It sounds like it's like a song that didn't make the album, if that makes sense. Yeah. All right, there it is. Yeah, it does. It literally sounds like it could be off of Lateralus. That's how I hear it. I don't know. Have not heard this song, but that's how it sounds to me. I'll just say it. To me, that was their peak. And when I heard this, I was like, okay, but this. And then it made me not want to go, you know, and also just being older and going, you know, all kinds of other things to listen to. Like I just didn't feel like the value in Tool is all back here, not here. Somebody tell me I'm wrong. I'm sure they will. I know that there's people that are into both of these albums, right? I know it. But is it really that different from Lateralus, or are they just, you know, kind of doing it? Because yeah, again, this sounds like Lateralus. Yeah, that's me. It just sounds like it came off of Lateralus, literally. Like literally. Lateralus to me is fantastic. Like perfect. Pretty much perfect. But if you have not, this is for Matt, if you have not heard, like, because you're like, you hated them for whatever reason, maybe because this sounds like it's from Lateralus, and Lateralus is a great album. But if you haven't heard Opiate, maybe you have heard Opiate, and that's why you're like, yeah, I hate them. I didn't like Opiate. You know, I didn't like Part of Me, or, you know, any of these, frankly. I would listen to this album. I mean, these tracks are live. Come on. I mean, it's just so raw, right? So raw. You got to hear it. Yeah. If you don't know that album, you got to hear it. Right. And then Anima, right? Undertow. Obviously, it's been so long since I've heard this. Prince like Sober, of course. Right. Undertow. Okay. Right. Next, Anima was massive. This was massive. Yeah. Stinkfist, Eulogy, 46 and 2. Right. Push It. Right. Lots of great tracks on this also. Right. Lots of great tracks on this. And then for me, just Lateralus was just perfect. It was just perfect. It was fantastic. Triple platinum. Yeah. To me, this is their best album. But anyways, so that's where I'm at with Tool. Yeah, they're great. They're great. And Danny Carey is amazing, right? I mean, the guy's amazing. He is. He's fantastic. I definitely see him as a Neil Peart type, having not known Neil Peart ever until you saw me, right? listening to Neil Peart for the first time. Well, not for the first time, but you know what I'm saying. Like really, really hearing him, right? Because it's not like I hadn't heard Rush. I just heard Rush and was like, I don't like this, right? And then you hear it just in the grocery store, stuff like that. So anyways, yeah. All right, cool. There it is. All right. Thank you guys. I'll catch you later.